the thing that happens with, like, ask a rock musician to play jazz and he can't do it. Ask a jazz musician to play rock and he could probably do it in 10 minutes. The reason is that rock is a very direct and elementary form of what sort of is happening, and it's very measured. It's an 8 to the bar thing. It's very much on the beat and very, very measured thing. It's not that difficult to feel and to do, I don't think, for a musician that can handle it. And all I have to do is learn to feel it and handle, start to handle it. But the jazz thing, I think, my opinion is that it's a little more liquid and maybe a little more sophisticated craft-wise and even feeling-wise. A drummer was telling me that plays some rock drums like that. He was waiting all these years to have somebody ask him, what is that ding, digga-ding, digga-ding? He says, it finally happened. The rock drummer asked him, he says, because they're always playing the measured beat. And it's a very subtle thing to play jazz time and make it swing and have a pulse. And, rock is, if anything, it's not subtle. I think we can all admit, Yeah, it's very direct. There's nothing wrong with being direct. I don't like to go around corners, even when you're subtle. But that's, I don't know. It's about the only thoughts I guess I have on it.
To me, one of the things that happens, and happens in African music, it happens in a funny kind of polyrhythmic way. When a measured beat, as you say, becomes an unmeasured beat.
Yeah. Superimposed. Yeah, to superimpose things.
It's not that indigenous to jazz, it doesn't seem to me, but in the very best jazz.
Yeah.
And the mind seems to begin to wander. The mind seems to be able to get free of where it's anchored. There's polyrhythm, so I thought, well, there's a fifth beat in there coming in, and now it's in 5, and now it's back.
Whatever,
Right, whatever it is, yeah.
I agree.
Have you theorized about that?
Well, to the extent that I used to say, I'm really glad about rock for one reason, that it has taught the kids where the beat is, and it really did. And I would say that the rock generation knows much more where the beat is than for, say per 100,000 population, than per 100,000 population did, when I was like, a teenager. The kids used to get out there on the dance floor, and they didn't know where the beat was. They just shuffle around, and very few, musicians know it. And that, I feel that rock has done well. Now that they know where the beat is, the thing is to feel it and to do something a little less, obvious with it. That's what I would think, and that's perhaps one reason why a lot of young kids are coming into jazz, because they can feel the beat now, and now they realize that what they hear is not just a string of abstract, unrelated rhythmical things, or whatever, that, there's a pulse underlying the whole thing, and it doesn't have to be constantly pounded, But, I'm beginning to sound like I have a gripe. Maybe somewhere deep inside me, I did resent a little bit the fact that, that terrific phenomena of rock in the 60s pushed jazz into a corner, because I don't want to be controversial. I don't want to get into controversies about it. I really don't. It doesn't matter to me. I'm where I'm at. They're where they're at. Let's all be happy, And all I ever say about anybody is, whatever you do, you got to live with it, And, if you're in it for a buck, that's fine, as long as you know it. If you're in it for your, soul food, food for your soul or spirit, that's great too, or both. Whatever it is, you have to live with it, and I'm happy to live with, with what I'm doing, and somebody else probably hates it. So, that's all I can say, really.
Is that what separates jazz from rock finally, other than musical considerations, is that jazz is for the music and rock is for maybe money and music?
I really don't know. I guess you'd have to do a survey of rock musicians and ask them what their motivations are, if you could get honest answers, I think a lot of them would admit they want fame, popularity, girls, whatever, and I'm sure that those things all play some part in any person who's professionally ambitious in any field of music. But where those things line up numerically as far as priorities might vary a little bit.